And honestly, like, I know there's like this stigma around like therapy, whether it's like males or females and stuff, but honestly, I think therapy is good for anybody. Like, you don't have to have like a super serious like issue, or like a, you know, where people stereotypically would go to therapy for. I think therapy is just good to be able to have someone to help you have that conversation with yourself of like, why am I triggered? You know, why am I acting this particular way? What is my thought patterns? Because it's almost like somebody that doesn't know they're an addict, let's say, you know, that they're like, wait, this is affecting all of these different people in my life. Or it's kind of like admitting, well, not admitting, but realizing that, okay, here's like an issue, whether how small or big it is, and what is it affecting, but also not just pointing it out, being that problem spotter. It's also like, okay, what are some tools that I can try? Because not every tool that they give you in therapy is necessarily going to be the best, right? But because they can offer different tools and strategies to try, then it's kind of like figuring out, okay, what works best for myself, right? Just like there's different like exercise and like fitness modalities, right? You know, of what we do, of like group fitness and like personal training, the jiu-jitsu side. And then there's other people that are more like into yoga because that's what best helps them. There's some people that are more into like powerlifting because that's what that's like their goals and what they want to do and works best for them. And nothing's wrong with any of those ones, right? Just like with therapy, there's different strategies that may work for one person but doesn't quite work as effective for me. So it's just going through that a lot to try to figure out what works for me. And I think also having a supportive partner has helped a lot too. And a supportive like inner circle group of friends to have those really like candid conversations with, that they're not gonna baby me, but at the same time I know that they're not harsh about it either. That makes sense. Right? Because if it's too harsh, then our typical reaction is to be really defensive.
Yeah, put up a wall.
Yeah. You know, people are like, oh, give it to me direct, but no one really likes direct feedback because it doesn't feel good inside. So yeah, and then having a supportive partner, being able to have like the conversations with each other, to kind of work through things together and being really like understanding. We have very different communication styles, or not communication styles, but different ways of like, yeah, I guess like working through like arguments or disagreements, and what else, kind of like compromising on how we communicate, when we communicate. For example, if we are in a disagreement, he's the type to, he claims that he's like overthinks a lot and he wants to talk about it right away, which I totally get, right? Because you want to like figure out, don't want to just like be in your head and have those negative like train thoughts for a long period of time. And then for me, my typical coping before was to just give silent treatment and kind of like put up a wall, because I would have these conversations in my head because they weren't the nicest things, so I didn't want to say them out of like impulse, and then I can't take it back, right? But I also can't give someone silent treatment for days on end because it's not going to be very helpful anyways. So anyways, we really compromise in the sense of like, and this was a strategy from my therapist too, of basically kind of setting like a time limit, like, okay, I need like 10 minutes to like cool down, set a timer for 10 minutes. It gives me the mental bit that, okay, I have 10 minutes to work through this in my head, ready to go. And then it gives him, okay, we're going to talk about it in 10 minutes. I'm not going to need to like wait and figure out when am I going to talk about it, so it kind of, it's like a compromise, right? He does need to wait a little bit, but I also need to come up sooner and then talk about it. Yeah, but that was a strategy from therapy.
Yeah.
And that like realization, Ulay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.